Hello, everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so thrilled you guys are here today because I have got a 5-minute fun fold. Boy, there's some words you love to hear together, right? 5-minute and fun fold. Yep. And we're also going to be featuring flashcard pieces in today's video. I'm super excited to share these with you. So let's get started. All right, my friends, let's jump in with our flashcards today. We're going to create 2 cards. I've got one that is going landscape, one that's going portrait. I'll show you this one here in a minute because we're going to kick things off with my happiest birthday card. Now, for this card, we are going to be working with the So Refreshing bundle. Gotta tell you, hands down, one of my favorites. Maybe it's because I love anything lemons. It's kind of like my thing, but I just think this is a really great, fun, summery birthday card. Now, as I said, it is a flashcard. If you are not familiar with flashcards, I'm going to put the link that'll kind of explain flashcards up there in the corner. I've got a piece of Daffodil Delight. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I did some scoring on this. I scored at 2 1/4, 4 1/2, and 5 1/2. Now we are going to bring in our first flashcard piece in Tahitian Tide. That's 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then I have my piece of basic white that'll go on top, and that is a 2 1/2 by 4. This is the optional piece if you'd like to add a piece here on the inside, 4 1/2 by 4 1/4. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. I'm going to start with a Memento black ink pad and the lemonade pitcher. And what I want you to do is to stamp this all the way over on the left side of your basic white cardstock. Now I'm going to come in with the glass, all right? We're going to put 2 glasses because, you know, we want to celebrate our friend's birthday together, right? And of course, we cannot have lemonade without ice. So let's add a couple ice cubes there. For now, I'm going to put my Memento black away. We'll be coming back to it. But now we're going to bring in a Daffodil Delight so we can fill our pitcher and our glasses. So we simply will add our pitcher of lemonade. I love photopolymer stamps, how you can see right through, you know, right where to stamp. And now I can fill my lemonade. And just for fun, I'm going to bring in a crushed curry ink pad. And I'm going to float a few lemons here in my pitcher. Just to kind of give it, you know, it's just a shade darker. So I thought that looked really nice. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side because now I want to bring in my card base. We're going to do a little stamping here. The first thing I want to do is to just score this or crease this down in half, all right? So I'm going to actually stamp those lemons all over this one side here of my card base. I am going to do that in the crushed curry just to make it a little bit bolder. So if you'll give me just a second, I'm going to get all this stamped for you. Now let's not let that get away from us too much because I'm actually going to fold over. This is that 2 1/4 inch area, and I want to stamp just on this flap as well. Now I do need to tell you most of this is going to be covered, so I'm really just going to focus on the top and the bottom of that flap. One of the things I love most about flashcards is that the idea is all you're going to need to work with are those 2 little pieces. I don't like to have you bring in a lot of extra. I'm going to be using my lasting label punch, and what I want you to do is to take that Tahitian Tide, and you notice I'm sliding it all the way into the punch. Now when I put my fingers here, it's perfectly centered. I can kind of hold on to that. That's important. Whoops, until you let go. Don't let go. All right, I've got that centered up. Let's give that a punch. And the reason I did it that way is because we're going to hide this. So I'm going to bring my card back in and let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to add this right here. You notice how it centers from left to right and then top to bottom. And that hole is right there in the center. That's exactly what we want. I find it best to just put my adhesive right there on this flap. I will add my Tahitian Tide, again, lining it up Now I'm going to add my lemonade, that wonderful focal image there on the front. And look at that, totally hidden. No one's going to know that we punched from behind that. Okay, so now we can bring our Memento black ink back in so we can stamp our sentiment. We'll just stamp that right there. I've got 2 Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put them right here on the corner of my card. And we can add our sentiment and make sure you're holding your card flat. We don't want it to hang off the sides. We'll add that there. All right, that's where we are. But do you remember that extra little fold? Yeah, we had that extra fold. Do you remember that one? Let's give that one a little crease. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this down. It just kind of gives the card a little bit more of a fun fold. So adhesive all the way down there. And I'll give that a press. And now you can see it kind of just gives it a very different look. Now, I did mention earlier that this piece is optional. All right, some people just prefer to always have a white center to their card, and I'm totally for that. Now this one, I just stamped some lemons down the side, and of course this is light enough, I can write my message there. But I want to go ahead and show you what to do if you want to add the white center. So if not, you're just going to add some lemons down the side. If you want to go with the white center, you want to make sure you're kind of visual on how this piece is going to fit, because remember it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. So let's come back in with our lemons. And we'll just randomly stamp those down the side here of that white. And now you can adhere that inside your card. So that's going to give it a little bit different look. Now, I thought this one needed just a little embellishment. And when I say little, I mean it. I've got just a little knot here of some black and white gingham ribbon. I just think it just screams summer and picnic, and of course it just goes so nicely with my lemonade. My friends, that's how you made a card in a flash, and you notice that we did it with just the card base and those 2 little pieces of paper. Remember, this one was optional. Don't forget to grab your free download that goes along with today's video. So if you'd like to recreate the card, you'll have the measurements, photos, even a link back to this video if you need a refresher, and of course a place you can order any of the supplies you might need. Friends, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can grab your free download at simplysimplestamping.com, or you can just look down in the YouTube description for a direct link. Now, what I love about this card is it kind of has a little fun pull tab, and actually this one kind of stands at, just kind of on its own, right? And of course, you see this one, we're going to go portrait style. I did add the extra piece here, but remember that is very optional, but I want to teach you how I did this card. The measurements are the same, but the colors have changed. So this is balmy blue, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I have that scored at 2 1/4, 4 1/2, and 5 1/2. And then my 2 flashcard pieces are Daffodil Delight. That was a 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then the basic white, 2 1/2 by 4. Just like we did before, we are going to fold our card in half. Now remember, we're going portrait with it. So make sure your opening is down here at the bottom. Remember how we stamped all over this with lemons? This time we're going to use some clouds. And that is featuring the Playing in the Rain stamp set. I think this one is so much fun. And yep, we've got those clouds. It was a great way to just add some stamping and just give our card a little something, something. I'm going to stamp my clouds. Again, it's very important that you pay attention to the direction of your card when you're stamping. I'm going to bring in some grid paper because I don't want to stamp off on my table. All right, now we're going to flip. Remember, we just flipped the 2 1/4 inch piece back. Let's stamp also some clouds on that. Be sure you're paying attention. Remember, our clouds went this way. When we flip this up, we want our clouds going this way as well. And just like I said before, we just need them on the ends. This middle part will be filled in. I'm going to go ahead and fold this back. And remember how we added our adhesive right here? to create our card. All right, I've gone ahead and done that. Now let's do some stamping and some blending on our focal image. With my Memento black ink pad, I have got my little fox and rainy days are better with you. Now I went ahead and put it all on one big block. One of my little time-saving tips. Whenever I can, I like to put everything on one block. So let's stamp our fox and our sentiment. And then I'm also going to add just a little bit of a little water puddle down there at his feet. All right, we have that stamped. Let me put that Memento black ink away so I don't end up with it all over my fingers. Let's bring in some Stampin' Blends. I'm going to be using Daffodil Delight, Smoky Slate, the light balmy blue, and then I'm actually going to use my color lifter as well, something I don't use very often. So tell you what, we're going to start with our dark Daffodil Delight. And I want this umbrella. There's just something about a yellow umbrella, right? I'm going to trace out the inside of my umbrella, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the raincoat. Oh, and his hat as well. You know, he needs a yellow hat. All right, now we can come in with the Daffodil Delight in the light, and watch what we're going to do. We're just going to blend these two colors together. There's alcohol in these markers, and what that does is it just, when those two colors touch each other, they just blend together so nicely and give you some really nice shading. Makes you look like you're this amazing artist, and really we're just blending some colors together. The key is to let the light touch the dark, but no worries. These are not going to pick up those other colors. They're meant to blend. I'm now going to come in with the dark Smoky Slate. And, you know, I'm going to color the top of the tail. I'm going to get the ears. And then what I'm going to do is any part where you see some of the little work from Stampin' Up, I'm going to go ahead and hit that with the dark as well. Now I can come in with the light, and just like we did before, we're going to blend, blend, blend. Now, I love Smoky Slate, but I got to tell you, the first time I made this card, my fox is just a little too dark, and I was like, oh, I didn't want him quite so dark. And that, my friends, is where the color lifter is going to come in and help us out. So let me finish coloring in my fox, because we want to get the hands, we want to get the legs. Not bad, but if you want that to be a little bit lighter, we're going to come in with the color lifter. Now, this is kind of a magical thing, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start coloring with this color lifter, and you're going to go, yeah, Connie, it's not doing anything. That's fantastic. Love it. But just wait. Let this dry, and you're going to see we're going to pick up some of this color, and our sweet little fox is going to be just a little lighter. Now, I'm going to tell you, I just did the face and the tail. I left the arms and legs and the ears alone. And do you notice there's no ink here on the color lifter? It's just meant to kind of lighten things up. While that's drying, let's go ahead and take our light balmy blue, and we're just going to color in our little puddle here. Since I had the balmy blue out, I'm going to teach you another fun little trick. I'm going to take my Stampin' Blend, and I've got it at an angle, okay? Almost flat. And I'm just going to highlight my sentiment. What I love about the blends is that they truly blend, so you're not going to see marker lines at all. Guys, do you see how that sweet little fox is starting to light up and get just a little bit lighter, so it's not quite so dark? So yeah, that color lifter can help you do all kinds of amazing things. Here we go. We're going to start to work with our Daffodil Delight. So you remember that trick where we pushed our cardstock in all the way, centered it from left to right, and I was able to do that by just putting my fingers here on the side. We will punch just like we did before. We are going to add this right here to our card. Remember, just centering it up all the way around. Now we're going to take this punch and we're going to cut it in half. Neatness does not count. Now we're going to add this to our finished picture here that we've just made gorgeous. What we want to do is just kind of add that. Well, let's try to get it centered up. We're just going to add that. You can decide how much of the punch you want to show, but that's going to work. We're just going to put that a bit right there. Do you see how it's just kind of, we stretched it is really all we did. Now we're going to bring in our card, but I'm going to attach this with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Now this is important. Do not put dimensionals here on your pull tab because that actually hangs off. So keep your Stampin' Dimensionals strictly on the white part of the cardstock. And, you know, look at the back of this. We don't want anyone to see that. We can add that right there to our card. And I'll tell you what, for this one, I'm going to bring in my finished one. And you see, I did the same thing with the piece of basic white. Again, it was optional. And I just stamped the little umbrella and colored that in as well. So again, it's balmy blue. It's light enough that you could leave it as is. And if you decide to do this, let's go ahead and add a few clouds down here at the bottom. There we go. So whether you want to go landscape, whether you want to go portrait, you like that little pull tab. Guys, such a fantastic card. And this 2.5 by 4, oh my goodness, you probably have dozens of stamps that will work perfect on this image. So it's time for you to take the idea of the flashcard and this fun fold and start to create some really fantastic cards of your own. Thank you so much for being here today. Hey, if this video made you happy, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed and you want YouTube to let you know whenever I'm back with a new video, just click that subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll get notifications from YouTube. Hey, while you're at it, share with your crafty friends. We love to have all of our favorite paper crafters here on the channel. Have them join us as well. Thank you again for being here, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.